Hello, this your favorite number one DJ, DJ Brown Sugar V. I am here with my longtime mentor, my friend, and dare I say, he is like family to me, DJ TySki. I will let him introduce himself, then we will get right into it.
Well, I'm your second favorite DJ, DJ TySki, and I am, AKA real name, Tyrone Coxbay, but I am a principal of a small alternative school, been working in District 205 for close to 20-something years of education. As Joe has mentioned, I am also a mentor, close friend, and pretty much big brother type of situation. Married, got a couple of kids. Joe know all of them, been around all of them for all their lives for the most part. And that's pretty much who I am.
How did you meet me? Take us through that encounter and what went through your head.
Surely. I met Joe. He was out selling Girl Scout cookies. And, okay. No, I met Joe back in 2002. And he was in my building. I ran an after-school program called the 21st Century Program. It's a program that caters to students who need additional help in academics or just need a safe place to stay after school. So I bumped into Joe. He came in with a friend, and I observed him participating in the activities of tutoring, helping a student out. At that point in time, I kind of questioned who he is, and because I saw that he didn't come in allowing what appeared to be a disability to affect how he will work with students, I felt like, man, this is someone that I could really use in my program to show students that they could overcome obstacles and hurdles. And so at that time, I was in the process of hiring tutors, and I felt that felt that you would fit the mold of what I was looking for. And so I asked him to come aboard. He's been helping me with young students ever since then.
How would you say I interacted with the kids from your point of view?
Well, you wasn't shy, and you were very helpful. You were the type of person who you could see the true, genuine care for the students, and you demanded respect. There were no one saying or calling or having nicknames, because what I liked most about you is that you were really witty with your comebacks and your words, and to help students really come to like you, right? And I thought that was pretty cool.
Was there any issues?
No, because I try to build a program where people can respect others for who they are. And so I can't recall any of the kids saying, I don't want to work with him and all that kind of stuff. None of my staff was like, Coxbay, why did you hire this guy? None of that. You just came and you fit right in. You cracked jokes, shot ball, and you were just like everybody else. There was no differences.
How would you say I grew?
Well, so I don't know how deep you want to get, and I won't go too deep, but your confidence level within yourself, right? You knew that you had a situation where people would be uncomfortable with. You knew you had the challenges of dating and wanting to be respected and loved just like anybody else. And I remember us having conversations and walking through that process. I remember how strong you were to get through some very tough times. And then to see you, let me say about maybe about 10 years ago, to come back and see you again, and you're out there. This is at the beginning stages of your DJ time, and just saying, hey, look, this I have a skill set that you would like, and it has nothing to do with the way I look or the way I sound over the microphone. I'm doing a service for you, and people were, picking you up and hiring you. And I was like, man, I really admire your grit and resilience to get through some of those hurdles to make sure that people can respect you for who you are. And I know there's probably still some times where there's some difficulties and there's still some hurts because people could be cruel, but you're stronger than when I first met you. Not saying that you were weak then, because you were strong enough to work with the students and let them know that you would be respected. But I could see that you feel that there's no differences. There's nothing, you're not at a lower standard or that anything is stopping you. And that in itself is inspiring for me. That was one of the reasons why I hired you, because if you could come into that setting and just be you, why are my students holding themselves back because they have deficits of not feeling like they're smart or they're coming from poor neighborhoods or whatever? You were an example that you could overcome barriers regardless of the situation, and that's what you did. That's what I saw, and that's what I see today.
Give us one good example of that you remembered.
You overcoming the challenges? Sure. I'll give you one that's not so big. I remember the first time we were out in the gym, and all the guys were like, come on, Joe, come on, Joe. And you was hesitant for a part, but you had to explain to everyone that we had to be mindful that you had a trait. And so everybody, it kind of threw us all off like, so what do we do? And you was just like, no, I mean, we can play, but you're not gonna catch me running in the hole like everybody else. Sure enough, you running in the hole like everybody else, and we just played, right? But when you're unsure or you don't know or something's unfamiliar with you, you're hesitant of the unknown, right? You don't know, like, should I pass him the ball? Like, yeah, pass him the ball. That ain't got nothing to do with his hands. Or can I D up on him? Can I get close? That don't have nothing to do with his trait or because he doesn't have a lower jaw. What's that got to do with anything? He still can shoot ball. And it took us. We were the ones who needed to overcome our challenges. It wasn't you. But the good thing is that helped everybody grow, right? It was good to be able to have conversations with staff members afterwards. Like, man, Joe, real cool. That kind of thing. Like, yeah, what did you think? Like, you thought he wasn't going to be cool? That kind of thing. But just to see you persevere through that and your ability to teach us during those times was one of those obstacles that we got past.
You would say I taught more than what you hired me for.
Did I teach you more than what I hired you for? So, yes, what you did exactly what I was hoping you would do. I was hoping you would bring insight and life to students because of what they would have described as a disability. And you did not allow it to be a disability. And it's helped me have conversations with students to say, hey, you think you had a hard time? You want to talk to somebody, have a talk? Go talk to Joe and ask him how he's persevering, how he's doing, how he got through this. Ask him about the hurts that he had to face. And then it helps people go like, oh man, yeah, I'm tripping.
Actually, some kids did come to me.
That's pretty cool, because I didn't know. I mean, sorry that I used you, but you were a living and walking example of somebody who made it despite those hurts and those hurdles. And so you were the greatest example because in that population, and the population is within just south of Chicago, a Harvey community. I was at Thornton High School at the time, and the students then were over the 50% poverty line, had a lot of challenges and things of that nature, and they needed to see someone who could get through, that's from the neighborhood that can get through those challenges and those hurdles. And not only just because of your physical nature, but you were highly intelligent and smart, and at the same time you could joke and play and be just like one of the guys. And you were one of the guys, right? Because everybody loves you, everybody talk about you. When I'm running, if I'm at the store, people will be like, man, when the last time you talked to Joe? You know, that kind of thing, so, yeah.
DJ TySki, how did you move into DJing with me?
So at the program, we always had to have activities for the students. One of the activities was who wants to be a DJ, and so that ran after school on Mondays and Wednesdays. I think it was Mondays and Wednesdays, and so I taught students how the DJ first with the fundamentals and things of that nature. And one of my greatest proteges that came out of there was DJ Brown Sugar. And so, and it was cool because you took that art and just really helped. You know, you took everything I was telling the students, because you was a tutor then, so you was really one of the mentors for the students. But you sat there and grasped all that knowledge and built your skill set so that you can be financially resourceful DJing. And you also did it to entertain. And then it's a good place because you're very musically inclined. So you were able to take all of that, put it into one, and you were a DJ, officially a true DJ. And so that was pretty cool to see you just grow in that manner. Now, you're not as good as I am, not just yet. You know, you still got some things to learn.
And he lies.
Yeah, I'm good at that. Yeah, no, you're pretty good. I listened to you last Sunday. Was that Sunday or Saturday? It was Saturday. It was Saturday. So I'm going to tell one of the secrets in the trade. So DJ Brown Sugar told me he was going to be streaming live. And I told him, when I get tired, I'm going to just, stream you live. And sure enough, in between my set, I got tired, and he was playing right where I was going into. So we was gelling at the same time, and he was mixing some gospel. So I turned him on in the crowd at my set. Now, where were you? Were you in at home, or were you up here in Illinois? You was in Illinois. So where he was spinning, I was playing in my location in Joliet, and it really sounded good. And I was really proud of you because I could hear your blends. Now, just before that, I was listening online to your set while I was spinning, and I was like, okay, Joe got some skills here. I love your mashups. You're really getting good at that. But your blends are great because you take the fundamental steps in DJing, which is you blend at the breaks or you create your breaks. And they're typically between 8 beats to 16 beats in between, and you blend in or blend out, that kind of thing. A lot of DJs don't fundamentally do that. They just chop them straight through. And that, to me, is not DJing. That's just playing a song, stopping a song, playing a song. But to be able to mix it and blend it over those 16 beats and sometimes stretching out to 32, that's an art craft, right? And I could tell you just wasn't hitting the sync button on your blends. You was actually dropping them, catching the beat, bringing it to tempo and things of that nature. So I was listening for all of that to see if you were really, spinning. And there were times I heard that you were syncing. I was like, oh, okay, you cheated, but it's okay. That's part of the whole craft, right? And so good job, man. But yeah, you stepped your game up. It was really good. Still not as good as me.
Hard question. How did your kids accept me? Were they scared?
No. So, and I want your audience to know the things that I say are true. I'm not sugarcoating anything, and I'm not trying to make myself to be any more than what I am. But my kids were raised to respect and be non-judgmental and love everybody. And this is from birth. The good thing about them being in an environment like the after-school programs that I've ran, they've seen some of everything. And when they saw you, I think the only one that was a little bit scared was Kaya. But she was a baby and she never really saw someone of your stature, right? But it took a little time. Because I was comfortable and I kept you around me, she understood that this is okay. Without me saying anything. I didn't have to go like, oh, baby, it's okay, this happened. None of that. It's because of my acceptance and having you around and not really making it an issue. She felt that it was just fine.
And to this day, she loves me.
Yeah. This is that. All of my kids love you. Everybody loves you. This is one of the things that I'm most proud of my family is that we bring in everybody. I don't care if you're black, white, Chinese, Hispanic, Puerto Rican, Latino. Those are races. I don't care if you're gay, trans, whatever. None of that is an issue when you talk about bringing people into your life and accepting them for who they are. When you deal with disabilities, it could be handicapped in a wheelchair, it could be someone with a prostate, arm, leg, whatever. All of that, none of that matters. And I don't teach my kids, and I don't feel that it's something that I need to work around or cater to. If you recall, I've never catered to your ability to speak like a regular person. Matter of fact, when we playing around, I'm still giving you digs. I don't care, right? Because for me, you're just a person. And the way you communicate is the way you communicate. The way I communicate is the way I communicate. So when you used to have the voice boxes and stuff like that, I tease you like, hey, you got to type faster because I'm not going to be waiting on you to, all that kind of stuff. But it was in fun and we were just playing. But I just respected you for who you are. And so my kids would do the same thing. They didn't have that issue.
Any of the kids at the school come to you scared?
There was kids who, because of their ignorance, didn't want you to tutor them. And I didn't have a problem with that because everybody had their preference. Regardless, they have their preference. But what it did for me was provide an opportunity to educate. And that was the best thing for me, to be able to say, hey, listen, what is your issue with Joe? I don't know, it's just because his mouth and he be da-da-da-da-da-da, I'm doing the girl thing because I can remember the one girl who was doing it. And it was cool because I was like, well, how do you perceive getting help then if Joe is not going to do it? I don't know. I'm like, well, there's only a couple of people here to give you some assistance. And if Joe's available, well, why don't you let him help you out? Unfortunately, she would rather go to like Miss Carter that was there, and that was her choice. But it did give me a chance to educate her because no matter what, as long as I'm dropping seeds, they will grow somewhere else. And hopefully the words that I told her about you and why she should just look at you as a human outside of someone without a jaw, then she could get past a lot of hurdles. And I had to share with her because you don't know what life brings you. And if you're too busy judging, when life brings you a situation that you're not ready for, and because you have set this standard, you're going to be hurt, right? Because we never know what comes our way.
Hard fall.
It would be. And I'm not praying, I wasn't praying any judgment on her or anything like that, but it was just, I needed her to understand that there would be somebody possibly in your family or when you get married, you may have a situation where you lose a child. A lot of things could come up. So don't be caught up on not willing to work with someone based on how they look or what they appear to be or whatever. no matter what, the person is still a human, and you need to just work that out and work with them, because there was nothing that you couldn't do that was to prevent her from learning. It was just because she wasn't ready. She never seen anything of this nature, and so she wasn't properly prepared by her parents.
I remember, off topic, a little girl, 80 years old at the time, was scared as ever of me. This was at camp. At the end of camp, she was hunting me down.
Yeah, I kind of remember that too. Yeah. Once the students they saw that you were just like everybody else, that you could kick the soccer ball, you could play the games, and everybody else is cool, then it's like, oh, he's cool. Okay. But it's good because little kids need to see that. They need to understand. Not to get into the political realm, but if people would have just take the time to get to know someone for who they are and not how they look, you will find out that you have so much more in common than you have different. And then you can grow, learn, and respect them. Like, for example, some of the kids did learn sign language from you, right? Because when you were doing it, they were like, oh, what's that? And then you would tell them, right? And so you could just learn so much by opening yourself up to other people and not going on those preconceived notions that your parents have taught you. And I think that is the problem that we face in our society, even especially today, that people are basing things based on what somebody else have told them instead of going out to find out what it is for themselves.
You have taught me to stay more calmer.
It's educating people, right? My brother and I went to the junkyard to get some materials for one of our cars. This was a summer. And going to a PWI, a predominantly white institution, it was college, I learned to be patient. There was a lot of hurts there because of the school I went to. They still had a lot of people who were pretty much racist. And so wanting to be at that school, I had to learn how to navigate through it, right? Where my brother went to historically black college, and he learned a lot, some information I would have liked, but at the same time, because he was in a localized community, he didn't get a chance to work with or deal with some of the things I faced. Well, anyway, at this facility during the 90s, I had It's a Black Thing, You Wouldn't Understand shirt on. And so we pull up, get out the car, we go in to get the part, and this lady says, I just don't get that. Why do you people wear that shirt? So, obviously, typically when somebody say you people, we just like, yeah, I'm about to tell you what us people do. So my brother got charged up, and I said, hold on. And I explained to her what was the purpose of the shirt. And I told her that, based on the history of where we've been, what we went through, some of the challenges that we have, you just can't really get an understanding of what that is and how our hurts are. And I gave her some examples of others that have been in situations similar to us, but in the end, she said, you know what, I thank you because, I never really thought about it like that. I never really thought to put myself in your shoes, and that's why you're wearing that shirt, because you're right. And I was like, yeah, man. So in the end, my brother was like, man, you know what? I never would have thought to say anything to her because she was just ignorant as H-E-double-L-L, And I was like, yeah. And he was like, but I'm glad you handled it that way because now she knows. And I was like, yeah. So I think explaining and being cool under pressure is everything, because most people are doing things because they've been taught a certain way or they're just simply ignorant. And if I give you an opportunity to be educated about it and then you still respond ignorant, then I can deal with you in that manner. But if you be like, okay, I get that, then there's no pressure because I know you just didn't know. That's why I try to teach you.
The point of you saying, the next person won't understand, but take the time to explain. That's what I do. I can explode every day, but I take my time.
I'm sure. Working in the environment that you work in, people, might snicker and say things or whatever, but then when they get to know you now, all of a sudden they want to be your buddy, want to be your friend. But if you were to respond out of anger, then you kill that possibility of a relationship, and it doesn't change anything. It actually causes things to be worse, because now when somebody is an enemy, now they want to put things out there. They want to videotape and all that kind of stuff, because they're coming from a place of hurt instead of from a place of love. So when you give them that love, then you can help them. Now that don't always happen. I ain't trying to teach that all the time. Sometimes you got to deal with things a certain way, right? You know, but for the most part, you want to stay in a place of calmness, because you never want nobody to get your goat. You never want nobody to take away your joy for that day. And so you need to live within that as best as possible.
Pick your battles and protect yourself.
There you go. Yeah. Look at you learning a lot, man. I'm proud of you.
Anything you would love to say before we close out?
Yeah. Let me just say this. For those of you that do not know DJ Brown Sugar personally, because this is probably something that's going to be on TikTok, right? And so, just a little bit, right? So a lot of people don't know you the way I do. So let me just tell you about who Joe is to me. He is one of the most caring, loving, give the shirt off his back type of people that you will ever meet. If you ever got a chance to sit down with Joe one-on-one, you will walk away blessed. Because not only do he share a lot of his joy, but just his humor and the conversation that you could talk with Joe all day long because of the insight and intellect that he provides in the conversation. And you can't get that all the time, because most of the time you see him joking, playing, dancing or whatever on in streaming services, or you catch him at work. But if you ever really just, I know why his wife loves him, because he's easy to be loved because of what and how much he gives on a regular basis. And so I am, knowing you over 20 years, I am super, super proud of you. You're like a son to me because of our relationship. And then there are times that you're like a brother to me, because I can share with you my frustrations. And I really appreciate it. I really appreciate your walk. As a Christian young man, I enjoy having you around my family, because I don't have to worry about nothing. If I need you to come to the house and grab something for me, I don't have to worry about, is he gonna take something or whatever, right? It's just a good feeling when you have people in your life that you can trust like that. All right. So that's all I have to say. I want to thank you for this opportunity to speak so highly of you.
DJ Brown Sugar V, we out.
And the next time, I hope I can interview you. Man. Matter of fact, I have Kaya interview you. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's going to be good. Thank you. You just gave me an idea. Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. We'll be back here. Next time you back here, yeah, that's going to be good.
You will forget.
Probably so. And when I tell her, I'm going to tell her tonight. She'll remember. Because you have a good story to tell. You really do. I don't know if you had a chance to tell your story. It's good. It's good. Yeah. Outside of those attributes, I guess I could, the most important thing, if I'm describing myself, I'm first and foremost a Christian. And I am a lovable, huggable type of guy. You just ask my wife, she'll tell you everything.